the government also last month proposed amending the constitution to limit the power of the president. But you said in an article that it's tokenistic at best, and there is now a realization that structural reforms are essential. Now, what are these structural reforms that are crucial to inject stability in the country right now?
So very importantly, we need to recognize there is a political crisis as well as an economic crisis. And for this, we need a whole host of reforms that is urgently required in Sri Lanka. And one of the demands of the people has been also to abolish the executive presidency. Now there's overwhelming support because many see the executive presidency as directly linked to the economic crisis, the crisis that has brought much hardship across Sri Lanka and for many Sri Lankans. So abolishing the executive presidency is critical. The proposal the government tabled in cabinet, got approval in cabinet and got gazetted is really insufficient in terms of what is needed. That is the proposed 22nd Amendment to the Constitution. So the demand is very much going way beyond what has been proposed by the government, and to ensure there is a system change that is abolishing the executive presidency and ensuring there is credible and genuine checks and balances so that we don't have a repeat of what we've seen in the last few years.
Now, if that resignation happens on Wednesday, does this mark the end of the Rajapaksa era and their positions of power, or do you think they will return for a third time?
Well, one needs to recognize the Rajapaksas have been in politics for decades, and they're a very powerful and political family. Mahinda Rajapaksa was the president in Sri Lanka from 2005 to 2015. During that period and under Gotabaya Rajapaksa's presidency as well, we've seen a whole host of family members playing key roles in government and governance. It's very unlikely that this is the end of the road for the Rajapaksas. I think they're going to be biding their time. They will return. But we need to recognize that at this given moment, they are extremely unpopular. And the many people who've been coming to the streets and protesting, and Saturday was a remarkable show of force, are clearly demanding that Gotabaya Rajapaksa goes home, but also the entire family goes home. So there are a lot of questions in terms of their role, in terms of demanding for accountability for their direct role in terms of the crisis. But I won't rule out the family entirely at this moment.
Bhavani, very quickly before we go, there was optimism that the island nation would find a path to healing and prosperity at the end of its 3-decade civil war back in 2009. Do you think that optimism still exists?
So one needs to recognize Sri Lanka's decades-long cycles of violence speaks to deep-rooted issues, and the root causes of the conflict have not been addressed. In effect, they've been sustained under the Gotabaya Rajapaksa presidency. So unfortunately, under this government, we have seen corruption, we've seen the ethno-nationalist policies, we've seen mismanagement. Now, to address genuine reconciliation, we need a whole lot of things done, addressing concerns of the minorities in Sri Lanka, reckoning with the past. And reckoning with the past includes looking at the role of Gotabaya Rajapaksa and other key members who are accused of serious violations. These all require attention and genuine steps. Otherwise, we will miss another opportunity in terms of real reconciliation and peace in Sri Lanka.